Welcome back to the Bearded Console Gamer, and today, my friends, I'm going to be taking you through which games to play first on the OLED Nintendo Switch console, which is set to launch on October 8th later this year. Now, as we know, the OLED Switch is set to sport the same CPU as the previous Switch consoles, so it's not going to be any more powerful when you're playing on the big screen. Therefore, this video is going to focus solely on games that'll see the greatest benefit from the improvements being made to the handheld aspects of the system, including that vivid new OLED panel, rejigged speakers, and a full-length kickstand. And if you enjoyed the video, please be sure to comment, hit that like button, and subscribe via the big red button below the video or the tiny graphic at the bottom right of your screen, as this will make me smile and enter you into this month's giveaway, which could see you walk away with a free copy of Metroid Dread. And with that, let's get into our first OLED Switch game picks. Starting with, and you guessed it, the 2D action-adventure bounty hunting extravaganza that is Metroid Dread. Because how could it not be on this list? It's one of the most talked about, iconic, and recognizable franchises in the Nintendo stable. Fans of the series have been clamoring for a full-fledged return to the Metroid universe for, well, let's just say some time now. And during Nintendo's E3 Direct, they finally got their wish with the reveal of Metroid Dread. This time around, Samus Aran has been sent to the planet ZDR on a mission to investigate reports that the dreaded Parasite X may have avoided extinction, and to determine the fate of a high-tech squad of deadly murder robots that were also sent to explore the planet. In short, the game looks incredible, and the OLED panel featured in the new Switch is certain to get the most out of those vivid retro-vibing sci-fi visuals. So it's unsurprising that Nintendo timed the launch of Metroid Dread to coincide with the October 8th release of their new console. Next up on our list is Tetris Effect Connected, a hyper-modern take on the world-beloved puzzle game that either lets you play through a single-player journey mode or go head-to-head with friends or strangers drawn forth from the internet. And if you're looking for a game to flex that new OLED screen and make the most out of the reportedly revamped speakers, then look no further than this. Because Tetris Effect Connected is an audio-visual feast, a festival of particle effects, contrasting light and dark, sound and music that'll absolutely pop on the new console and immerse you fully into that Tetris experience. Furthermore, TEC, as I'm calling it for brevity, will also feature cross-platform multiplayer at launch, so you can feel free to explore the game's 30+ stages and numerous game modes with friends no matter what system they prefer to play on. And given the long storied history between Nintendo and Tetris, it just feels right that the latest Switch revision is going to launch with a modern take on the classic IP, which is likely why Nintendo timed the release of Tetris Effect once again to coincide with the October 8th release of the OLED console. Next up, we have Luigi's Mansion 3, a game that's sure to show off the improved contrast capabilities of the new screen compared to the LCDs that were found in previous iterations of the console. And that's because, unlike with LCDs, each pixel in an OLED display emits its own light, and is also capable of shutting itself down when it needs to achieve far deeper blacks, and therefore greater contrast than would otherwise be possible. And that should make games like Luigi's Mansion 3, which have an emphasis on the contrast between light and dark, all the more beautiful. The same goes for Astral Chain, an underrated game with a spectacularly vivid and distinctive neon graphical style that would benefit massively from being played on the OLED Switch. By the way, did anyone else spot Lappy's cameo in the recent Bayonetta 3 trailer? That was freaking weird, right? But it definitely confirms in my mind that Astral Chain takes place in the Bayonetta universe, and that we're likely to see a sequel to the game announced sometime in 2022. But it's not all about that enhanced screen, because ridiculously, one of the things I'm most looking forward to with the new console is the new and improved kickstand. Now, don't get me wrong, I love my first generation console, but the kickstand that came with that model of the Switch is one of the greatest sins ever inflicted upon humanity as a species. It was tiny, brittle, and completely static once unfolded, and considering that one of the major selling points for the Switch was the ability to use it on the go, it was just a major drawback for the system. Thankfully, the new Switch comes with a kickstand that runs the full length of the main unit, is fully adjustable, and looks like it may actually be useful. And that's why I'm putting Overcooked 2 and Mario Party Superstars on my list of suggested OLED games, because the improvements being made with the new stand, the higher quality screen, and the rejigged speakers should all combine to make a better party game experience. So keep your eye out for Mario Party Superstars when it lands on the Switch on the 29th of October later this year. Next up, we have Fire Emblem Three Houses, partially because it's an incredible game, but also because I think it'll benefit from the increased screen size with the new panel. I mean, at any one time in battle, there was a lot happening on that little portable screen, and some of the text you had to read throughout the game was pretty small in handheld mode. And whilst I personally didn't have a huge problem with it, I can see how it would impact enjoyment for anyone with less than perfect vision. Finally, I couldn't exactly make a list of games to play on the OLED Switch and not include the two games that have defined Nintendo's current console generation. I am of course referring to Mario Odyssey and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, two epic games with distinctive styles that'll benefit from the larger improved OLED panel and the refined speakers. Beyond that, it's just a perfect excuse to replay these titles, especially in the case of Breath of the Wild, as we await the next installment in the series, which is due to drop sometime in 2022. And that's it for my list of OLED Switch gaming suggestions. Let me know what you'd like to play in the comments section below, and as always, if you enjoyed the video, please remember to like and subscribe and to hit that notifications bell to stay up to date with all the latest content and biggest news from around the video gaming world.